Now, unlike Enron and WorldCom, which ceased to exist because of similar defrauding, Tyco International continues to not only survive, but thrive. So what's the difference here, and what are some lessons that can be learned from this?
I think there are 3 or 4 things I would say, Vaishali, that are very critical. And I know as a board member at Bemis, I'm very watchful. I keep a very watchful eye on these things. Number 1 is an independent board, an independent and engaged board. Board should not be to just sign off things that management has put in front of them, but really to review, evaluate, assess, and then either agree or disagree with it. So really, and then the board engagement is important, very important in my mind. Second piece is, as part of that board engagement, they really need to be engaged not just with the CEO and the CFO and the general counsel, which are the 3 main leaders that boards normally engage with, but in my mind, they need to get involved with the second, maybe even third level of management, just to have some lines. It's not on an everyday basis, but, once every year or something like that, where the board members get exposure to and can have a conversation with the second line of management or second level of management. The other thing in my mind is the compensation systems. You have to be very watchful of how you're compensating your executive team, your CEO, your CFO, and all the key business leaders. How are they being compensated? And actually, a recent example of that was Wells Fargo that we read about in the news, right? Where the incentive compensations led people to some very bad behavior out in California. So that is another thing that you want to make sure that they're being compensated the right way for the right things that we expect them to do. And the third is the controls themselves, to really, this is more the audit committee than the full board, but the audit committee is really responsible and accountable to make sure that the internal controls that have been put in place are effective and that they're operating efficiently. So I think these are just, if you can keep an eye on these 3 or 4 things, you'll find that, things like what happened at WorldCom or Tyco or Enron and others will not happen. But first and foremost, it's the board. If the board is engaged, these things won't happen.